So what, you're running the thing that I think I wanted to let you talk a little bit about is one of the reasons you wanted to do this was because there really isn't, we needed to build a party. The Democratic Party is abandoned a lot of places in terms of the National Party putting money in and things too. We talked a little bit about how tough it is to get money to fund the South and to make it competitive. But you run a different kind of campaign that's not that is literally about building from the bottom up, literally getting activists to start organizing the entire state precinct by precinct, literally creating a stronger party out of whole cloth with your candidacy and with the ticket that you put together. Because for the first time in years, there are actually candidates running in the Democratic Party for Attorney General, for Lieutenant Governor, for Secretary of State, for all these things. I talk about that a little bit. I think it's important for people to understand what we're building down there.
Yeah, it is truly one of the reasons that I opted to jump back into this fight. One reason obviously was because there are things in this country worth fighting for, and I just couldn't sit on the sidelines and see what was happening, and all of our state officials that are dominated by Trumpies just continue to do the things that they were doing in Alabama without as much as we've got some good legislators that have tried to stand up, but their numbers are small. And there's not been that coordinated effort around the state as much. But what I found when I was traveling the state is that there are so many people that are ready, willing, and able. That this is not like Alabama is like a state where there's only a handful of us in Alabama. There's a lot of folks that really have been pushing back, wanting to find a home. They just didn't really have it as much, and we didn't get any support. So you're right. One of the things that we talked about doing early on was making sure that we build a winning campaign, but we also build something that was going to outlast a campaign, that we were putting an infrastructure, that we were building, we were getting people in the campaign that had not been engaged as much before, and we're building a bench. And so the first 2 months of the campaign, I spent recruiting. I helped our minority leader, Anthony Daniels, recruit folks to run for the legislature, but significantly we recruited those constitutional offices. We had 7 constitutional offices in Alabama, and this is the first time since 2006 that we've got a candidate and a good candidate in every one of those constitutional offices. And I got to tell you, Joe, you've seen it. That is the thing that I think is exciting people as much as anything, that they've got these choices, that we've got something that we're not taking people for granted. We're giving them choices. We're talking about the things that we care about, and that's the working people in this state. It's just not the big tech bros and the money interest. We're talking about people, and we want to open it up. And so that we are doing that, and we're building that county by county, precinct by precinct, to where we can go after the votes that I got against Tommy Tuberville in 2020, over 900,000, which had been enough to win any governor's race in history. And so we've got our work cut out for us, but those votes are there. And all our job is to get them out to vote. And I think our folks are doing a great job, and we're seeing it in the numbers at our events, but we saw it in our primary. We had, we're an open primary state, so that you don't register. You just go up and ask for a Republican ballot or a Democratic ballot. And we had more than double the number of Democratic ballots that voted from just 4 years ago in 2022. Republicans spent $35 million on their races because they were contested up and down the ballot, really ugly races, but they spent so much money, and their ballots were down 25%. And that's a big deal. That is translating to us for a lot of goodwill. We are now showing people that there is not just a path to victory. That path is a lot wider than even you and I thought when we first started this thing back in November. It's a lot wider. And when you couple that with people looking at the South and looking at governor's races, it really helps us in so many ways.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, folks, if you're not giving to somebody spending it all on TV ads. We're spending it on the ground, building an organization. And as Doug points out, 900,000 people, over 900,000 people voted for him in the last time he ran. I think, what is it, about same 870,000 is what the winning governor candidate gets normally. Can you go into that a little bit?
Look, in some of our races since 2010, when we got wiped out, we've run against incumbents every time. And that is always a challenge in Alabama when you're running against an incumbent. This time we don't have that. And if our numbers go back to where we think that they might be in the 1.6 to 1.7 range, an 850,000 is going to win that race. And that is very, very doable it's not only doable, it is just right there for our taking, because I do believe that people are looking for that change. Our folks are excited. The Calais decision and voting rights has gotten people fired up, but Donald Trump and Tommy Tuberville have got our base fired up too. They want to get out there, and there is such a lack of enthusiasm on the other side. You just don't see it except for the real hardcore partisans, people. And that is not just for Tuberville. That is up and down the ballot. Our candidates are so much better qualified, so much better candidates, that is exciting a base like I haven't seen in Alabama in a long time, Joe.
Yeah, well, I did see it. I saw it in 2017 because for the first time we had a viable candidate who was actually no. And what happened? Massive turnout, and you won. And now you have the entire ticket, you leading it, and a great slate of candidates up and down. That wasn't there in 2017 for us.
Yeah.
It's there now. You built it. Not only that, I say this, it's one of my favorite things to say to you is like, I don't believe any of those 900,000 plus people who voted for you woke up sometime since Tommy Tuberville's been senator thinking, well, I made a mistake. I should have voted for Tommy Tuberville. In fact, no, I don't think that happened. And I think, at least from what I'm seeing on the ground, what I saw in the focus group, everything and you see it, in the turnout in the primaries, man, a lot of people have woken up and are not that energized. The people who voted for him,
right? I
think there are a lot fewer of those who, a lot more of them think maybe they made an error here.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a record now that we're talking about all the time. And the other thing, Joe, and I think this is important for folks to know, because since the 24 election, there's been so much criticism of the Democratic Party, the DNC, how Democrats as a whole, or there's nothing but these elites, and we've got to get back to working folks in the states, and around. We're doing that. We're hitting podcasts, we're hitting social media, we're doing all of those things. But with this ticket, we're also going into the rural areas. We're talking to people and listening to folks that I don't think Democrats have really done in a long time. One of the folks that we've got running with us, Ron Sparks, was the ag commissioner for 2 terms. And he is on the road more than any of us. And he's talking to farmers. He's going into these rural areas. He's talking to the folks that we can win back. And these counties are we know are tough to win, but I don't think we have to win them. We just have to narrow that gap and go through. We're organizing in those counties as much as we are in the Black Belt and other areas where is the traditional Democratic vote. And that's really, I think, going to be a good lesson for folks down the road, because we are doing exactly what every commentator, every political pundit has said that Democrats need to do. And that's exactly what we're doing in Alabama.
Yeah, no. And as you say, Tuberville's out there. I mean, these are all communities, rural communities, where they want to say over the data centers. They want,
right. That's right.
And so he's creating an opening. I mean, because of the differences on that issue, on Medicaid expansion, the losing rural hospitals in Alabama. There's a lot. Folks, I'm telling you, people are going to be surprised